Hi, I'm Kyle O'Reilly. I'm a mechanical engineering student at Oregon State. I'm initially from Chicago, but now I'm living here in Corvallis.
And I'm Elizabeth Wade. I'm also at OSU studying electrical and computer engineering. And I'm originally from South Dakota, but moved to Oregon a few years ago and am also in Corvallis.
Great, thank you. How did you get into Invent Oregon?
It's funny, I was in an online class recently, more about a week before the final deadline for signing up. And I had a student just offhand mention they had been in Invent Oregon at one point. And I was curious as to what that was because I always considered myself a bit of a tinker inventor. So I was curious and I just Googled it and found out about it and fell in love with the idea and applied right away.
Nice. Did you have a faculty advisor or mentor through the program at Oregon State?
Not one that was ever specifically designated to me. I was in contact with Michelle at OSU a few times. I just asked her initial questions about the program. So I don't know if I had a specific advisor here, but Michelle did help me in the process.
Cool. It sounds like you got into Invent Oregon kind of on your own, A lot of the reason I ask is because a lot of the teams that we're talking to, they filter into Invent Oregon from a feeder competition. So they've actually been through a couple rounds of.
Really?
Yeah, they've been through an incubator, which it's impressive to me that you have not, because it means that you're getting into Invent Oregon kind of like by bootstrapping it all on your own energy.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I didn't know about it at all until a week before the deadline.
Yeah, so what has been the process like just to get to this point for you?
Well, for my invention, honestly, this is something I've been working on for a little while, that I've been working on the automatic egg cracker a little while before discovering Invent Oregon. Has always been a tiny side project. So to get to this point, I had to sort of learn from the ground up how to do a business pitch. That's something I'd never done before. So I was in contact with Michelle a bit. She gave me general guidelines and a few lectures to watch. I took notes on those and just put together all the information I could on my product and went and did the preliminary round with OSU and managed to get through.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. It's so cool. So let's pivot a little bit and talk to me a little bit about the automatic egg cracker. It sounds pretty straightforward, but I'm really curious and really excited to understand how it works.
So yeah, the idea is right on the name. It's a automatic egg cracker. The goal is to be able to crack an egg with the single touch of a button. Because right now there are some egg cracking solutions on the market, but all of those are a lot more complicated, to say the least. It's a sort of accessibility kitchen appliance for those with less dexterity. Functionality is just placing an egg on top of the device. It rolls into place and pressing a button, and then the device cracks the egg and disposes of the shell afterward without the user having to get involved at all.
That's great. I love it. So what exists on the market already, and how is your egg cracker different?
Yeah.
So right now there are a couple of little handheld egg crackers on the market, things that operate almost like a pair of pliers. And the way they work is the person has to load the egg into a very specific place, articulate the device, sort of grasp and crush it, and then supposedly it cracks the egg. I did try one of them, and they have a horrible, horrible success rate. What really happens is the person puts the egg in, squeezes it, it cracks the egg and throws shell all over the place and makes a mess. And the whole purpose of these is to help those who can't crack an egg in the first place, mainly because of either having to live with disabilities or arthritis or something along those lines. So the current devices on the market all require heavy use of the hands and a lot of articulation and delicate movement, whereas our device is simple placement and button pressing.
Why would you say it's important for it to be that accessible?
Yeah. Specifically, I looked into the ADA guidelines, and For a kitchen appliance, a device needs to be able to be operated with one hand, whereas the current devices on the market, if they can be operated with one hand, it is with great difficulty. Additionally, they require no pushing, grasping, or pinching movement that requires more than 5 pounds of force. The current products on the market do require at least those movements and around 5 pounds of force. So they're really pressing the edge. And our device will be one hand operation with sub 1 pound of force with no wrist movement or grasping at all.
Elizabeth, I'll ask this to you. What kind of people do you think will benefit most from the automatic egg cracker?
Yeah, so like Kyle mentioned here too, we're really looking at people who have limited accessibility, specifically in the kitchen. So there's people who have maybe enjoyed baking their entire lives, but now can't because of arthritis or other limiting factors as you grow older. So we're kind of looking at this to open up the world of cooking again to people who have either never been able to enjoy it or have been limited in some way and can't do it anymore. So yeah, just as Kyle was saying, we're just trying to really focus on the accessibility and the ease of it, but also not losing the reliability or even making it more reliable, because what we found is they're not reliable and eggshells get into the egg. And yeah, there's so many kitchen appliances that are built for certain needs, and this really does feel like something. It's in baking, it's cooking breakfast, it's cooking dinner, it fits into a lot of categories. So yeah.
What appealed to you about the idea, and why did you decide to join Kyle?
Yeah, well, I just love to make things. And then Kyle, we were on a walk one day and Kyle's like, do you want to invent something? Somebody told me about InventOR. So we were kind of going over, well, what would we do? The deadline's nearing. And Kyle was talking about some projects he was working on and knew that he needed a little bit of help with the coding that would go into it. And because that's more my specialty, I was like, well, that sounds really exciting. And I've always been really excited about accessibility and bringing things into the marketplace that really provide something for someone and can lift up someone. So that was really exciting for me. And yeah, so it just kind of all fell into place.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a bolt of lightning from the gods a little bit. You said that it sounds like you had the idea to go to InventOR before you actually decided to invent something. Where did you get the inspiration for the automatic egg cracker?
That's me. So back a few years ago, before I decided to switch over to engineering, I was an emergency medical technician working on a 911 ambulance. So a lot of my job had me interacting with the elderly population. And there was one specific instance that sort of brought this issue to my attention. There was a woman I had met who just recently discovered that she wasn't able to crack an egg anymore. And she's someone who had loved baking for her entire life. And it was sort of devastating to her to suddenly realize she doesn't have this capability, this dexterity anymore because of her developing arthritis. And so I just kept thinking about that, and I went on to see, like, there must be something out there to help people with that. And I looked at the market and saw that there are tools on the market. I even went out and bought the things existing and tried them out and just realized that in some cases they are more difficult than cracking an egg in the first place. And I wanted to do something that would help and be better than what currently exists to help those people who want to continue baking but can't. And that's sort of just where this all arose, just that one patient back in the day.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. So looking forward to InventOR, what are some of the biggest challenges or obstacles that you foresee?
Okay, well, we're definitely just perfecting what we have, because we have, at the start of the competition, I had a very, very rough prototype that barely scraped by and worked. So getting it up to the standard at which I want it to be is going to be a big challenge. I want perfection every time. Right now we have a very high success rate, but not a perfect success rate. And just chasing after that constant improvement is going to be a big challenge. Additionally, the coding and electronics of the product are going to need to be finessed a bit over time.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, right? It's literally moving to crack this egg, and you're thinking about food safety and ease of use and reliability. So it's a lot of moving parts, and I think we just want to make sure that it's up to our standards, and that's really giving the world something good that's going to be useful, yeah, and add to the market.
That's great. Your heads and your hearts definitely seem to be in the right place. Let's pretend that we're at the finals are done. We're Invent Oregon is done. Obviously, having some seed money to help you bring a product to market is going to be really great. But is there something else that you hope to get out of your experience at the competition?
I definitely want to learn about the whole process of turning an idea into a product and getting it into people's homes, people's hands, trying to get something useful to those who need it. I want to learn more about the process, maybe make connections and find the people who have done this in the past just to learn from them and sort of see how to grow this idea into reality.
Yeah, I second that. And yeah, just really being able to go through the process of building something up and also getting to meet people that have done it and learn from them, and yeah, kind of build a community of people that are interested in similar things, and yeah, build each other up, and yeah, be able to come up with something really special. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. One last question for you. What is the most important thing that you want the judges to understand about the automatic egg cracker?
Right now, the solutions to this problem on the market are not solutions. The current products make cracking an egg harder for the user. Our product makes it easier overall and fits into accessibility guidelines that the other products do not. That we're solving the problem that is not currently solved.
Awesome. I love it. If there's anything else that you would like to add, now would be the time. Give you a chance to do that.
Yeah.
Anything you can think of?
Just we're really excited to be a part of this, and yeah, we're so grateful that this program exists and we get to exercise some of these things, because we're definitely early on in our schooling, and so we're just like grinding away. So it's really nice to be able to be creative, and yeah.
Oh yeah, it is so nice to have something tangible to work on.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for taking some time. Those are all the questions that I have.